Andrew was 35, and from the outside, his life looked like a Pinterest board. A successful architect, an apartment in the city center, a luxury car. But inside, there was a gaping void. A year ago, his wife, Elena, had packed her bags and left. No drama, no screaming, no cheating. She simply left her keys on the table and said, "You look at me, but you don't see me." Andrew was obsessed with success. He believed that providing financial security was what love meant. His psychological defense mechanisms kicked in instantly. He buried himself even deeper in his work, convincing himself that Elena simply didn't appreciate comfort. One evening, while scrolling through his social media feed, Andrew stumbled upon an announcement for an unusual psychological workshop. The topic was seeing the unseen. Having nothing better to do, he decided to go. Inside a dimly lit room, 7 people sat in a circle. In the very center stood an empty chair. The facilitator, an elderly psychologist with a piercing yet gentle gaze, spoke up. "Tonight, each of you will speak to the person you lost but couldn't let go. Place them in this chair and tell them the truth." People took turns stepping forward. Someone wept while addressing a deceased father. Another screamed at an ex-fiancé. Andrew sat there with a cynical smirk. To him, it felt like cheap theater. When his turn came, he confidently sat opposite the chair, imagined Elena, and said condescendingly, "I gave you everything. Why was it never enough?" The psychologist stepped up behind him, gently placed a hand on Andrew's shoulder, and whispered, "Now, switch places. Sit in Elena's chair. Become her. Look at Andrew through her eyes." Andrew switched seats. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and when he opened them to look at the empty space where he had just been sitting, it felt like an electric shock. Flashbacks hit him all at once. He remembered hundreds of evenings. He is sitting at his laptop. Elena walks up, wraps her arms around his shoulders, brings him tea, and tries to share how her day went. And what does he do? Without even lifting his eyes from the screen, he mutters, Cool, babe, I'm busy." He remembered the look in her eyes when she was crying in the kitchen after her dog passed away, and he just shouted from the other room, "It's just a dog, we'll get a new one, stop distracting me from my project." Sitting in her chair, for the first time in years, Andrew felt exactly what she had felt. Total, suffocating loneliness in a relationship. He finally realized that Elena hadn't left because she stopped loving him. She left because she was tired of being invisible. She was saving her own sanity. Andrew buried his face in his hands and, for the first time in his adult life, sobbed uncontrollably in front of strangers. The fragile castle of his ego had crumbled completely. 3 months passed. Andrew was a changed man. He slowed down his pace of life, started noticing the people around him, and committed to therapy. He didn't try to take Elena back by storm, he respected her choice. A cozy coffee shop. Elena is sitting by the window. Andrew walks up to her table. He doesn't bring a massive bouquet of flowers, he doesn't drop to his knees. He simply sits down opposite her, looks straight into her eyes, with warmth, depth, and without a phone in his hands, and says softly, "Hi. I finally see you. Tell me, how have you been?" "I'm listening." She looks at him, her eyes welling up with tears, and the screen fades to black. "What do you think? Should Elena give him a second chance, or is it already too late? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.